Hello and happy Friday, everybody. Here's what's coming up tonight on Now. A lot of people want to know if and when any of those displaced pets from all the hurricanes will be making their way to Maine. We'll get you some answers. And Christina Rex just back from Texas, helping out during all that storm coverage. We'll talk to her about what it was like down there.
Also, remember Hurricane Irma, those hot cops that were helping out with the relief efforts. Their selfie went viral. Now, one of those cops is actually in hot water. And there was an internet rumor yesterday that there will be no more Reese's peanut butter cups. We're going to get to the bottom of it. This is News Center now.
Welcome to News Center Now on this Friday, everybody. I'm Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Amanda Hill. We're jumping right into some tough news here. London, Paris, Barcelona, Manchester, all cities attacked by terrorists in the last few years, but they're also popular destinations for study abroad programs. Now, just this morning, more than 20 commuters were injured in a London subway bombing. Police say they are investigating the IED explosion as terrorism. Officials say the bomb detonated prematurely and was not well built, so it did not cause maximum damage.
Now, while America is obviously not totally safe from terrorism, European countries have had more incidents in the last couple of years than the U.S. has.
Yeah, many college students still think the reward of traveling overseas outweighs the risk for the most part.
It wouldn't be the first thing I would contemplate.
It changes the demographic of where I would be. Like, I'd probably rather go southern towards like South America, something like that, rather than like Paris or, you know, one of the high-risk locations, you know.
There's a lot of like kind of uncertainty with going overseas, and that definitely adds a really big one, a lot of concern of being in a situation like that.
It's based on human decision, so it's the individual's choice to terrorize a town or not. I don't think it should really affect anyone's decision.
When there's that increased risk, it's definitely not motivating.
I think that sort of thing has always been happening and will continue to happen, and yeah, if you let it control your life, then you're not going to go anywhere.
Of the top study abroad destinations, at least 3 of them have warnings for travelers. The UK now at a critical level, meaning they believe an attack is imminent. Spain has a high terror threat, 1 step below the maximum. Meanwhile, France is next on the list and is currently in a state of emergency following multiple terror attacks. As of now, that state of emergency will be in effect until November.
Now, Kimberly Sinclair is the director of international programs for the University of Southern Maine. She says the increase in terrorism abroad has actually changed the way they run their study programs, starting with running a risk assessment on the region before sending students over.
We have an institutional board that is made aware of the fact that we have students abroad in those areas, and that we have potentially also students studying here who may be from those locations. And then we also, at the same time, reach out to students just to confirm that they're okay. And sometimes it's also to see if they need help. They may feel that they need counseling, and we might be able to put them in touch with those resources abroad or here if they're here. Our responsibility is to ensure that we're assessing the risk of that destination and also helping the students to understand ways to protect themselves, encouraging students to register with the State Department while they're abroad. So there are a series of steps that we can take to help ensure students are as safe as possible.
We did reach out to other colleges in Maine for their comment. Most referred us to their global studies head, who usually happen to be abroad today.
Since we are in the middle of the school season.
Right.
Now, Bates College has a large study abroad program, and officials say that likely that's not going to change. Only 2 students are in London, though, right now, and both of them are safe.
That's the good news. All right, weekend about to be underway. We're so close.
It's going to be nice. At least that's what Jess says. Are you sticking to that, Jess?
Hey, yeah, the weekend still looks great. One thing that we're still watching, though, is Jose. And Jose, as of 5 o'clock, now back up to a hurricane, winds sustained at 75 miles an hour. And there is a chance that this could bring at least some impacts to our area as we get into the middle of next week. So we're going to talk about that quite a bit coming up. Let's take a look at the models again. Now a Category 1 storm. It looks like those models will those models are moving up the East Coast. They're going to get very close to our area as we get into Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll look at that in depth coming up in the full forecast. But as far as our weather goes, it's still been pretty nice. We did have a few showers around today and a few clouds as well. High temperatures, though, were beautiful, making it into the upper 60s and lower 70s at the coast. Farther inland, upper 70s, even a couple low 80s. 78 the high today in Bangor and 72 in Portland. Usually we're in the low 70s, so Portland right around normal, but Bangor was well above normal for this time of year. You can still see those clouds sticking around at the coast, a few showers there as well, but things are going to clear out tonight. And you guys, the weekend is looking wicked nice. We'll talk about it coming up in a bit.
Wicked nice.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
I think that's good.
Thanks, Jess. Thanks. All right, the Jewish community in southern Maine is remembering a beloved teacher, talented cantor, and witness to history.
Yeah, Holocaust survivor cantor Kurt Messerschmidt died this week at the age of 102. Hundreds gathered at Temple Beth El in Portland for his funeral. Cantor Messerschmidt's survival has been called a miracle. He escaped from a death march at Auschwitz back in 1945. While he was in the camps, he would sing to other prisoners and even the Nazi guards. The professional opera singer emigrated to Maine back in 1950. He was the longest serving cantor at the Portland Temple, where he was remembered as a very kind soul who taught generations of children and touched countless lives.
This is a very sad day. Even though he has lived to 102 and a half, I just always wanted him to be around.
That he survived was itself a miracle, but he came to Portland, Maine, and he helped transform this community.
Cantor Messerschmidt was one of the few Holocaust survivors actually left in Maine.
And I am honored and privileged to tell you that he was my cantor growing up. I've known him pretty much as long as I have known anybody, and did stories on him throughout my college career, of his Holocaust stories that he would tell, and just had a twinkle in his eye, a beautiful smile, and was one of the kindest, gentlest people I've ever met. So sorely, sorely missed.
Yeah, leaving behind a great legacy.
Absolutely, yep.
All right, coming up, thousands of people had their homes absolutely destroyed by Harvey and Irma. And it wasn't just humans left without a roof over their heads.
And then we look forward to Texas and Louisiana animals and finding them new homes here.
Animals left behind by the storm may soon be up for adoption here in Maine. That story coming up.
And Netflix's latest announcement isn't a new show or movie, it's a birthday card. We'll explain after the break.
Does your kid have a birthday coming up? Netflix is helping parents surprise kids on their special day. It's called Birthdays on Demand. You can create a happy birthday video with 15 of their favorite characters, including Barbie and Lego friends. You just choose any one of the 2-minute featurettes, and your child's favorite characters will deliver a special birthday message.
A few days ago, social media had the hots for these cops in Florida after their selfie went viral on Facebook. Tonight, one of those hot cops is in hot water. Officer Michael Hamill, the officer front and center in the picture, is suspended with pay and under investigation over what appears to be anti-Semitic posts on his personal Facebook. Now, those posts are years old and they have since been taken down, as well as the original selfie that had nearly 300,000 shares. One of those posts in question talks about how reading Jewish jokes before bed makes him feel better about himself. He then proceeds to share one. This is a screenshot from a Facebook user. His post with the receipts has nearly 12,000 shares. The Gainesville Police Department has responded directly to social media, saying the allegations are under review and they're taking them very seriously, again confirming Officer Hamill has been suspended with pay. Guys.
All right, Katie, thank you very much. So let's get to the weather. We hope you're going to head outside this weekend because summer days are numbered. Jess Conley will have the full forecast coming up, and then a little bit later on we'll have our hometown showdown 5th quarter preview. It's all after the break.
While the cleanup after hurricanes Harvey and Irma continues, some focus is turning to the displaced animals from those states and what will happen to them.
The Animal Refuge League of Greater Portland is anticipating an influx in dogs and cats, which should start in the next few weeks. The initial goal in these hurricane-stricken areas is to reunite pets with their owners if at all possible. If not, shelters all around the country will be willing to do their parts.
We're working actively with rescues and shelters across the country, specifically in Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Puerto Rico, to help welcome animals from the hurricane-impacted areas here to the Animal Refuge League. Over the next 4 to 6 weeks, we'll have a few transports arriving with both cats and dogs from these hurricane areas. We're keeping people posted on our Facebook page and on our website. In the next 2 weeks, we'll have our first transport from Puerto Rico arriving since before Irma. And those are animals that were found before the hurricane and received foster homes down there. So we'll be welcoming them within the next couple weeks. And then we look forward to Texas and Louisiana animals and finding them new homes here.
Now, the Animal Refuge League is also looking for foster families that would be willing to be at least a temporary home for a cat, a puppy, a dog. For more information on that, check out the ARLGP's website.
These animals are starting to find relief from the flooding, but so many Americans haven't seen a dime from charitable organizations or FEMA yet.
Yeah, so Christina Rex was in Houston for the last week helping out our sister station there. Joins us with kind of what the experience was like.
Yeah, guys, it was pretty, incredible and crazy. Everything you could possibly imagine an experience like that would be like. I learned a lot. There's no doubt about that.
What's kind of the biggest worry for families right now?
So without a doubt, it's, what happens next? So they're super fearful, or they were when I was there at least. Hurricane Irma was coming, and they were incredibly fearful that those charitable organizations or, the national news they mentioned to me, they're going to pick up out of Houston, move over to Florida, and then forget about them entirely. So they obviously still need so much help, and they were really, really fearful that that help wasn't going to stay there as long as they needed.
Well, and I know you just left a few days ago, but families are still waiting for money to come in and to help. What's the holdup? Why is it taking so long?
Well, I think what people don't realize is, certainly these organizations are down there. The Red Cross is down there helping people out. FEMA is down there and people are filling out applications, but that's the thing. You have to fill out an application before you can actually get money from FEMA to rebuild your home and to rebuild exactly, everything you need. As well as, I learned J.J. Watt, as we know, he raised over $35 million now.
Wow.
While he has been actively helping people, he hasn't actually decided where exactly that money's going to go yet, what organizations. So the actual money, these people who are in their flooded out homes, they haven't seen any of it yet.
Wow, geez. And what's the one thing that you think is really going to stick with you from all your coverage there?
I would say definitely the moment I will never ever forget is when I was in this neighborhood in West Houston. And so what people, up here might not realize is that Houston has 2 reservoirs. The Addicks, and I'm so sorry I'm forgetting the other name, 2 reservoirs. And those are designed to keep water out of downtown Houston. So when the rain comes, those flood up so downtown Houston can stay dry. Some areas got over 50 inches of rain in this case. So it was impossible to keep anything dry, and the city had to intentionally release those reservoirs into these neighborhoods. So these people got an extra 4 feet of flooding that they never expected. Wow. So I was in that neighborhood, 2 weeks after the hurricane actually happened. In 2 weeks, you'd think the water would be gone, but for all these people in this West Houston neighborhood, it was their first time stepping foot inside their houses ever since Hurricane Harvey hit. So I was
so
with
many
them.
Pictures of just carpet pulled out, all the sheetrock and just things that people were pulling it out of their homes, leaving it right on the sidewalk. I mean, I can't even imagine.
Piles in front of everyone's home.
Neighborhoods full of that stuff.
And I went in this man's house. Like I said, I was there with him when he saw the inside of his house for the first time, and he just broke down in tears. Even the wood on the ground, you'd expect it to hold up, but it was ripped up in little mountains all on the ground because it just couldn't hold after all that, all the flood water. He opened his garage door, and in his words, it looked like a blender had gone through it. Everything was just completely ripped up, and just seeing that shock and him having to rip everything out and throw it on the sidewalk, it's just, I can't ever imagine.
But
wow.
We're glad you're back, and we're glad that you're able to share those stories with us, so thank you. Appreciate
thank you guys
that,
so
and
much.
that you're safe too. And you guys will get to see a lot more of Christina because she will join our Now team full-time starting next week, and we're pretty excited about that.
Big happenings.
Yeah, all right, so Hurricane Harvey is long gone, Irma's almost completely dissolved, but now Jose, Jess Conley.
I know.
Come on.
I know, not great timing on this, right? We've had such an active kind of end of August and September as far as tropical systems go. We are watching Jose for our area. We'll talk about that in just a minute, but let's first look at what it's like out there today. Pretty nice, right? Temperatures along the coast in the upper 60s and lower 70s. Farther inland, we are in the mid to upper 70s. So just beautiful high temperatures for the day today. It was gorgeous, still pretty nice out there too. We're still anywhere from the low 60s to the mid 70s. So it really depends on where you are, but overall it's looking pretty good. Here's a current look at the satellite radar. Mostly clear skies out there. A couple showers right now, but still not too bad. We are going to have a great weekend too as these showers clear out of the area here. Again, you can see all of the clouds around still right now. As we go overnight tonight, though, we will start to see a few clouds move into the area. Looking great, though. Look at the high temperatures for tomorrow. Just gorgeous out there. It's going to be a fantastic weekend. Definitely going to enjoy it. It might be the last, very warm weekend for the summer. Also the last official weekend for this summer as well. Sunday afternoon, we're in the mid 60s to mid 70s. Really depends on where you are. Farther away from the coast, looking better. All right. Take a look at what's going on here with Jose. Now a hurricane. Again, this is as of the 5 o'clock update. Winds sustained at 75 miles an hour, gusting as high as 90 miles an hour. The good news is that as it heads closer to us, it will start to weaken. Looks like as it gets close to our area, it could be a tropical storm. Could bring us some impacts. You're seeing what the models are doing here, bringing it very close to New England, especially very close to the Cape Cod area. So of course we're keeping a close eye on this. We'll keep you updated as we go through the weekend too. The closer we get, the more accurate of a forecast we can give you, which is typical, right, with the weather. So as we get into the weekend and into early next week, I should say, we'll start to see this move closer to our area. You'll notice far southern Maine actually now in the cone of uncertainty for this. This means we've got to watch it closely, and of course, we are. All right, possible problems with Jose will be coastal flooding. We could get some very strong rip currents too. Gusty winds and some rain possible, especially closest to the coast. Most of this will be during the Wednesday, possibly into early Thursday time period. Again, we're going to keep you updated on this. No one needs to get too stressed out quite yet. We'll keep you updated as we get closer. Your marine forecast for tomorrow has seas at around 2 to 4 feet. Some morning dense fog possible tomorrow as well, so just be careful of that. The weekend, though, is looking lovely. It should be a perfect weekend. We are watching Jose again for the Tuesday night, kind of into Thursday morning time period. It looks like things could definitely get interesting. We're not going to see anything, of course, like what we've seen with Harvey or Irma, nothing like that. But rip currents are an issue. Of course, anyone that has a boat wants to pay close attention. So
sure.
We're watching. We'll keep you updated.
All right. Thanks, Jess. Okay, you guys voted. This week's hometown showdown is Scarborough versus Thornton Academy.
It's true. Emily Milliron paid a visit to both teams this week. Joins us now live. Hey, Emily.
Hey guys, I'm here at Bucksport High School right now where they will be hosting Mount Desert Island at 7 o'clock. Both teams won their games last week. Both offenses exploded for over 40 points, so you're going to want to watch that game in Hancock County. But as far as hometown showdown goes, let's go a little farther down south. Thornton Academy and Scarborough, these two teams played each other last November in the Class A Semi-South Final. Scarborough won for the first time in 16 years, so tonight is 16 games, so tonight is the rematch. And I caught up with both teams earlier this week to talk about what they're doing to prepare.
They do a phenomenal job. They set the tone for the rest of it. It doesn't matter if you got 8 of them or 25 of them.
2017 is a new year, and although the Trojans graduated a number of starters, Thornton Academy is guided by its small but strong senior class.
They've got to be the leaders. They've got to set the tone. They've got to show people the right way to do things, and we've got a great group this year.
If someone's feeling down, or the atmosphere is kind of low at practice, kind of slow, we got to get it going. We just got to show them how to do everything the right way, how to be a Trojan.
314 days. That's the last time that Thornton Academy and Scarborough clashed on the gridiron. Scarborough coach Lance Johnson and his players attribute the Red Storm's competitive edge to the years that these boys have spent playing football together.
A great group of people that had really organized a strong youth program. And I think you're starting to see the fruits of that youth program. A lot of these kids have been playing since they were in 2nd, 3rd grade.
We're really looking good as a team. I feel like we have really good chemistry between us. We've all been playing football since like 3rd grade together.
Through their first 2 games, Scarborough has outscored its opponents 92-15. Through their first 2 games, Thornton Academy has outscored opponents 101-18. Off to scorching starts, neither teams are harping on their recent success. Their only focus is Friday night.
They're going to stress you both sides of the ball. Hopefully we can do the same to them, and we've had some great games with them. And
last year we finally beat TA, so I mean that was kind of like the rivalry game, but now it's just kind of like another game. You know what I mean? They're tough, and we're just looking to beat them. I'd say the intention's a little higher, but it's always going to happen when you come in and face an opponent like Scarborough. I think I'm just going to get the butterflies. I'm going to get the chills. It's always electric.
All focus is on this year now. I mean, we get the confidence now that we know we can beat anyone, and so we're really looking forward to this game, and hopefully we can get it done.
Now those highlights and more coming up on the 5th quarter tonight. Lee and Amanda.
All right, Emily, thank you very much. Yeah, Scarborough High School should be packed tonight. That's a huge rivalry game, and Scarborough favored that game for the first time in like 6 years.
Oh.
Thornton Academy always wins. Maybe not tonight. We'll have to find out. We got to watch 5th quarter to find out.
Right.
That's how you know.
Something you should definitely tune into.
I want to tune into the News Center at 5:30. Do you know why?
Because Miss Tori Ryden.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm well. I'm thinking about Scarborough. I mean, hometown talent, and they're all going to be cheering people on.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of people.
I think we know who she's cheering for.
Keep going.
tonight.
I'm not. I think TA is great too. Do you like this whole? I'm very PC. I try to be.
Yeah,
Okay, so listen, coming up tonight at 5:30. We all go to New Hampshire to do some skiing, to vacation sometimes. This story is going to make you want to stay right here in Maine because it's a major ripoff, kind of, sort of. New Hampshire people making more money for the same jobs we do here, and not just by a long shot. Wow. Yeah, the numbers were released today. New Hampshire, I don't want to give it away too much. Don Kerrigan's on this story, and what he unearthed is, it's kind of depressing actually for Maine. We know how beautiful Maine is. We're here, we love it here. We're not leaving, we're not moving to New Hampshire, however. Little disparity there. Also, we're talking about the Equifax breach. You know, a lot of people have been impacted by that, people around here as well. We're going to have some pointers on how you can protect your family and also find out whether you've been impacted by this. It's a really, really big deal. So that's coming up tonight on News Center at 5:30.
A lot of people
keep
track
for that. Absolutely. News Center Now continues after the break.
World's most popular candy to be removed from stores. They're pulling Reese's peanut butter cups right before Halloween. How many of you have seen that online?
All right, and honestly, raise your hands. How many of you fell for it? I did not. Peanut butter chocolate lovers, don't panic. The Verify team is here for you. It took some minor sleuthing to figure out this is a total hoax. It is fake news. Besides the fact that Hershey's Never announced Reese's was discontinued, this article even admits it's a prank. Below the brief story, which has all the hallmarks of a fake news story, there's a button that says, create a prank.
And if you scroll down even further, you can see a disclaimer reading, this website is an entertainment website. News is created by users. These are humorous news, fantasy fictional, that should not be seriously taken or as a source of information. So at least they're upfront about it. And guys, remember, if the URL looks strange, if the article doesn't have an author or a dateline, don't go with it.
I just want my peanut butter cup. Like now.
Have a good one.